This is me reviewing pound dollar for the 8th of August, which was a Thursday. So this is where we are at on Wednesday. We previously took out these highs, and price started to displace lower with bearish order flow. Though, however, it has come into this next level of imbalance, fair value gap, and found some support this week so far. Essentially, we also have this sell side liquidity right here, that if buyers do want to come in, that would be a cheaper place for them to buy. However, if we are looking at this range, whoever was buying around this area clearly sold off around this area, and if they were to buy again, then they would buy around, well, this would be a good discount area for them to buy. However, if someone was buying around this area and then they sold here, then ideally they want it to be cheaper, so that it has hit that 50% mark. Maybe it can come down to these lows, we don't know. Daily time frame also has run into this daily time frame fair value gap at the very low before Wednesday, and came into it with this strong engulfing candle and then put in a inside bar yesterday and Wednesday. Ideally, this would be the weekly low where price could potentially come down to. So let's see what happened on Thursday. So this is Thursday morning. Right, so let's see. We have been maintaining this bearish order flow on the 240 in line with the daily time frame and weekly time frame bearish order flow that started after the sweep of the highs. Not sweep, just the liquidity grab of those highs. Then price came into this fair value gap, tapped it, displaced. Then furthermore, we displaced again with this free candle fair value gap, failing to test these lows. So yeah, let's see. This is 5 o'clock candle. We've come into this 50% mark. We also have this 60-minute fair value gap right there. We tapped into that 50% mark of that 60 fair value gap. We also have a 60 fair value gap right here as well. So let's see how price played out. This is Thursday open. We've got displacement to start the day. Close below this fair value gap. And then we push back up into that weekly time frame fair value gap. And above. And now, and above, and now we are pushing higher. So this is a 7 o'clock close candle. This comes up and closes above this fair value gap. However, note that we are still in a bearish order flow on the higher time frames, and this, if you look at this and you think, are we going to go bullish, then I'll advise you to think again, because order flow is bearish depending on how this turns out, because 10 o'clock candle will tell us more. Next candle, boom, we get a close below this, we get a market structure shift, and we also have a fair value gap right there. Let's get rid of some of these. Right, let's get rid of that as well. We have a fair value gap that price comes into. Ideally, you want to wait for the 4-hour candle to confirm that this fair value gap is holding. So this is 9 o'clock candle, 2, 3, 4, and this would be the 10 o'clock candle, the 6 a.m. close candle. So yeah, we have held that fair value gap. We have turtle soup, whatever that is, right, goes beyond the intended fair value gap and then comes down, closes inside. So this is a trading opportunity right here somewhere. What do we have? We didn't hold this fair value gap, but we got this bullish fair value gap that could potentially turn inverse. Price closes below that, and honestly, this is a good area to short because we have multiple confirmation that down to the Asian low. You also have this 50% mark off that 240 fair value gap, which price can come into, which it doesn't, unfortunately. Maybe on the 5-minute it does. No, it doesn't, and then we just continue lower. we continue down to the weekly low and find support there. If you look at the time, 5-minute time frame, if you're going to counter trade, we've got this small consolidation just before, and then we form this order block, followed by this engulfing candle, and this would have been a good location to go long, especially with this kind of pattern. Ideally, I wouldn't want to go too far because that daily time frame fair value gap is something I would be watching out for. On the hourly time frame, we have further fair value gap right here. The price can come up to and hold. There you go. We've come back into that 50% of that fair value gap, 240 fair value gap, bearish fair value gap, and we're holding, and just before the news comes, we tank. Cool. We tank on the news because we took our liquidity off, the weekly low, and we bounced off pretty strongly from this level. We have got some fair value gaps that price can come into. It comes and holds that level, see? It comes back into the low of the week and then displaces pretty strongly. There you go. Market structure shift followed by a another fair value gap, which could be an entry. Somewhere around here could be an entry. Don't know where you'd go long up to. Don't have to enter every trade. There we go. Price bounces off the weekly low, and it looks like it could potentially take out all the highs from pretty much Wednesday. Especially after seeing price displace with the strong momentum. Liquidity clearly is, especially even if you're going to take it there. This level looks like a good place for the drawn liquidity. And that once you see price displacing so strongly after the taking out weekly low, we've got this hold and then another market structure shift and then another pullback into this fair value gap and order block. So that would be a good entry going long. But you also have a lot of these fair value gaps around. You have this fair value gap. You have this fair value gap. I probably want to put my stops below. And price goes up to that 50% mark anyway eventually during the day. Similar to yesterday, like I said, I think on euro dollar, price bounces off fair value gap level and then comes lower and then comes back to retest that fair value gap. Ideally, you want to see it retest at least that 50 mark, or higher, because taking a trade just off the highs that I'd made at the fair value gap might not be the best option, especially when prices moved deep into discount after rejecting that fair value gap. You know what I mean?